Hi, welcome back to our video on databases. Last week we looked at the insert button. I just want to remind you of our database. We've created a database, DB Student, which has been linked. The name of the table is TB Student, and we have the fields admin num, surname, first name, grade, mail, fees. So last week in insert, I'm going to run that to remind you and show you what transpired. So it was linked to our database, and we wrote code so that we would be able to insert directly into the database. This week we're going to write code for the edit button so that we will be able to edit a field or more than one field. I'm going to close that. The first thing we're going to do is put up a button on our GUI named edit. I'm going to double click on the edit button, and now we're ready to write code. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use our would do statement with data module 1 do begin and an end. I explained this in last week's video, the data module 1 and how they're linked and connected. So for us to be able to edit a field, the first thing we need to do is bring our database into edit mode. So the code is addo table1.edit. Edit or update requires us to have new information to put into a specific field. So as an example, let's suppose we want to change the surname. So we would say addo table1 square brackets, and inside the square bracket we would specify the field name in the database, which is surname, is assigned, and we will need the user to enter the new surname. So we're going to use an input box, input control space, and our input box has 3 parameters, as you can see, and the middle one is what we're interested for now, is where we will enter a message for the user, and we're going to tell the user to enter new surname, or we could say update surname. And after we do that, all we have to do is post this. So we'll say addo table1.post, and then we're going to refresh the GUI. So addo table1.refresh, and that's it. That will allow us to enter a new surname, and it will change the existing surname. So to see this happen, let's quickly run this. Okay, so we can go to the row that we want the surname to change. As an example, we'll go to number 5, and if I go to number 5, the surname is Zuma, and if I click edit, let's assume we want a new surname that we want to put in there, and we're going to call the new surname Lutuli. So entering a new surname, and I click OK, you'll notice the surname has changed from Zuma to Lutuli. So that's a simple way in which we can edit a field. But let's assume we want to edit the field called fees, where we want the user to give us the amount being paid, and then we will deduct the amount being paid from the current amount owing in fees. So to be able to do that, we're going to use the same, instead of creating a new button, we're going to use the same existing one. So after we do the surname, we can introduce a variable called amount paid, and I'm going to declare that in my variable section, var amount paid, which will be of type real. So amount paid, I'm going to ask the user for the amount paid to enter the amount paid, and I'm going to use an input box. but I've declared it as real, so I need to do a string to float, a conversion from string to real. So we use string to float, and we're going to get the information once again via input box, and I said 3 parameters, get them in, and then the middle one is what I'm interested for the message, and I want to ask the user amount paid. So the amount paid will be stored in AMT paid. Now what we're going to do is take the field which is named fees in the database, and we need to deduct the amount in fees by the amount being paid. So to do that, we will reference the error table 1 field called fees. Okay, my mistake. Error table 1 fees, and we will subtract the amount paid. So what we're doing is allowing the user to enter the amount paid, as you can see, and then we are subtracting this amount from the current amount fees, and that will overwrite the value in the field called fees. So let's have a look at it. We're going to run that, and let's go to the field for Smith, and we'll click edit. It'll want us to change the surname. We don't have to have the surname changed, but if we leave it as Smith, it will stay as Smith. And what I'm interested in demonstrating is the amount paid. So let's look at Smith before we change his fees. His fees is 20,000. So let's assume he pays 5,000. So that should change to 15,000. And you can see Smith's fees has changed to 15,000. So that's a simple illustration of how we edit information from Delphi in our database. Thank you.